Hey guys, this is Amjad with another tutorial of how we can use if statement or function in Excel. Well, if function is the most used logical function in Excel, and you can't work properly on Excel if you don't know how to use it. And in this tutorial, I will use simple if statement, nested if statement with symbols, and with multiple criterias by using other functions like sum, average, and or, etc. Here in this sheet, I have some data of employees from sales department. The sales they made for the company, their job rating, status, etc. In this very first example, I will use the basic simple if statement with no additional criteria. So, in this example, it will just be the logical test with true or false arguments. Now, write your formula, and here you can see that the simple if statement has only three arguments. First, the logical test. This is what you want to see whether it's true or false. And the second argument is that if that something is true, then do this. And the third argument is that if that something is not true, then do that. Well, for the logical test, I select the sales data and put the comparison operator greater than, and the value I am comparing it with is 9,000. And what we want to know here is that if the sales is more than a certain value, in this case 9,000, then give the employee an excellent job. And if it's not more than 9,000, then give the employee need improvement, or let's say good. So since it's a text, it needs to be written in quotation marks. Now put the closing parenthesis and hit enter, and double click on the cell handle or drag it down to copy the formula down. And here you can see that only one employee's sales figure made the criteria, so he got excellent, and the rest got good, since none of them met the condition or criteria we put in the logical test. And for the purpose of example, let's say change the sales value of this sales agent from 5,000 to 9,500. And here you can see that after changing the value, it met the criteria and he also got excellent. So our simple if statement is working fine. Now let me hide this column . And in this example, we will use nested if statement, which means that there will be if statement within an if statement, and there might be more than one if statements within an if statement. Well, bear with me if it seems confusing at this point in time. Now, in the last example, we used only one criteria, and there might be situations when you need to add more criteria to get to the required results. Well, start writing your if statement. And at this point, it seems exactly what we have done in the previous example, except the one change in the true or false output criteria. It was excellent and good in the previous example, but now, in this example, we certainly want to appreciate the sales agent who achieved their targets of generating sales. So, before starting the third argument of the if statement, we can use another if statement as an argument of the first if statement. And remember, every if statement has three arguments which needs to be applied. So this time I add another criteria that says the sales agent who got 7,000 and more in sales will be appreciated as excellent. Now here you can see that the two argument of the second if statement has completed. And if we want to add more criteria, we sure can by adding another if statement within the second if statement and so on. Here I am speeding up the process of writing the nested if statement. Anyhow, here you can see that I have added 4 if statements within the first if statement. And every if statement is the third argument of its previous if statement. And here you can see that I have used less than comparison operator with the last if statement, which means that those sales agents who have made sales less than 3,000 are actually trainees or newly hired sales agents. Now, close the if statements by putting the closing parenthesis and then hit enter. A small correction in the popping up image is the is equal to sign that needs to be added with the very last comparison operator. If it won't be used, then the value 3000 will not be included in the formula, as this comparison operator is less than the 3000. So to include the 3000 figure, we have to add the is equal to sign with the very last comparison operator. Anyhow, after hitting the enter, just double click on the cell handle or just drag it down to copy the formula down. And here you can see that the sales agent A made sales more than 9,000 and he will get some promotion. And the rest of the sales agent got their appreciation according to their performance. And you can see those sales agents who made less than 3,000 are being considered as trainees even when they are with the company for many years. Normally it doesn't happen. Well, let's say they are freelancers and whenever they got some work they need to be trained. That's why they are being considered as trainees. Now, if you want to see what exactly is happening within the formula, just make some space by dragging the formula bar down and press Alt plus Enter before every if statement to create a new line. Here you can see that all the if statements have broken down into separate lines. And now you can see and understand it clearly what actually is happening in the formula. Now here you can see that it's saying that if B2 is more than 9,000, then give that sales agent a promotion. Exactly the same way, if the B2 is more and equal to 7,000, then give him an appreciation accordingly, and so on. And just hit enter to turn off the editing mode. And here you can see that these two agents are still being considered as trainees even when they are with the company for many years. Anyhow, I'm hiding this column and using another example of whether we can use symbols with the if statement or not. Let's say I add symbols somewhere on the sheet where I can reference them conveniently. And to add symbols, go to the Insert tab and click on Symbol. It will open a small window where you will be able to find and select a symbol of your choice. Let's say select upward and downward arrows to show the performance of sales agents. And now I'm just cutting and pasting them to separate cells by pressing Ctrl plus X and Ctrl plus V. Now write your if statement and select B2 and add your criteria, in my case more than 5,000. And then for the second argument, just select your upward symbol. Since it doesn't need to be relative cell reference, just lock the cell reference by pressing the F4 key. And exactly the same way, select your downward arrow symbol for the third argument and lock it. and then hit enter after putting the closing parenthesis. And here you can see that those agents who made sales more than 5,000 are receiving upward arrows, which means that they are progressing day by day, and the others are definitely trying hard. Anyhow, this example shows that we surely can use symbols too with the if statement. Now let me hide this column so that we can use some advanced functions with the if statement in this example. Well, to have proper understanding of using other functions within if statement, just write the very basic if statement first, and then use other concerned functions according to your need. Here you can see that I have written the very basic if statement with the logical test saying that if the sales is more than 9,000, then give the sales agent promotion, otherwise no promotion. And hit enter and double click on the cell handle to send the formula down or just drag it down. And with this simple and only one criteria, just two sales agents will get the promotion as their sales figure meet the criteria. Now with a little change in the criteria, here you can see that more people will get the promotion. Now to add more conditions, let's add the AND function, and you can see that we can use many logical tests or conditions with AND function to get the concerned results. Here you can see that the logical test we wrote for the if statement has become the part of AND function. I am adding another condition saying that the status of the sales agent must also be full-time. And since it's a text, we need to write it by using inverted commas. And I am adding another condition saying that the sales agent should be with the company for more than 7 years. And I'm adding another condition saying that the job rating of the salesperson should be more than 3. And since we have used the second function in the if statement, we need to put closing parentheses to close it, and then put the comma to go to the true argument of the if statement. And here you can see that after putting the comma, the formula suggestion has changed back to if statement. And since we already have added the other arguments of the if statement, just hit enter and send the formula down. And here you can see that only one sales agent meet all the 4 criterias, and that's why he is the only one who will get the promotion. Now here you can see that this sales agent named H meet all the criterias except the status. That's why he is not getting the promotion. Let's say change his status from freelance to full-time. Now he should meet all the conditions or criterias to get the promotion. So in simple, with the AND function, all the criterias that we add must be met to get to the true argument of the if statement. Otherwise, it will give the false argument of the if statement. Now let's say turn the AND function into OR function and hit enter. Here you can see that only one sales agent will not get the promotion, and he is not getting the promotion because he does not meet any of the mentioned criteria in the OR function or formula. If even one of the mentioned criteria is met, he would also be able to get the promotion. And by changing the status of the sales agent from full-time to hourly, he will not get the promotion too, as he does not meet any of the mentioned criteria anymore. So in simple, what OR function says is that if even one of the mentioned criteria is met, it will give the true argument of the if statement. So the basic difference between the AND and OR function is that all the mentioned criteria must be met to get to the true argument of the if statement. Otherwise, it will consider it false under AND function. And under OR function, if any of the mentioned criteria meet the requirement, the OR function will give the true argument of the if statement. Now, let's use some other functions with the if statement to get some more ideas. Here you can see that I have written a simple if statement with a greater than comparison operator by selecting a range of cells. But I still did not mention what this range means. So we can use another function that will help us pointing out what this range of cells means. Now, let's say select sum function. And at this point in time, we know what this range means, which is if the sum of this range is more than 3000, then put the true argument of the if statement, which is excellent. Otherwise, the false argument will be the outcome, which is try hard. And since the formula needs to be copied down, press F4 to lock the range. Now, since another function has been used in the if statement, we need to close that function by putting the closing parenthesis. And after hitting the enter key, copy the formula down to see the results. Here you can see that only 2 people need to work a little hard according to the criteria we used in the formula. Here the sum of this sales agent is less than 3000 and is getting the false argument, try hard. Anyhow, let us use another function in place of the sum function. How about using the average function this time? And I am changing the word from excellent to good job this time. And hit enter and copy the formula down. Here you can see that the result is same since we did not make any changes in the criteria. Now let's use another function to make some changes in the criteria. And I am using AND function again to add another condition being the status of the sales agent full time. And hit enter by making changes in the true and false argument of the if statement if needed. And since the formula need to be copied down, we don't need to lock the C2 cell reference at all. And with this criteria, here you can see that only 2 people got the appreciation of doing a great job, since their average sales is more than 3000 and the status is full time. So, the more the conditions or criteria will be there, the more the complex if statement will be. But it sure gets easy to use with practice. And I hope this will be helpful for someone out there, and thanks for watching.